What if the stillness you feel right now is only a trick of perspective? A quiet illusion shaped by a world that never stops moving, even for the smallest fraction of a second. And if journeys like this one ever bring you a moment of calm, a gentle like or a soft tap on subscribe is always appreciated by this little corner of the universe for those who genuinely enjoy drifting through these cosmic stories. As you settle into whatever position feels most natural, the idea begins to unfold around you like a slow wave of realization. The room seems calm, the air still, your body resting against the surface beneath you. Yet nothing about you is actually motionless. You are floating on a turning world, carried through the cosmos along paths older than human memory, older than the continents, older even than the oceans. The story of how Earth moves is the story of a restless planet that has never paused since the moment it first condensed out of the solar nebula 4.5 billion years ago. You begin with the simplest motion, the one you learned as a child, the turning of Earth on its axis. A rotation so steady, so familiar, that it feels like the background heartbeat of the world. Right now, depending on your latitude, you are moving anywhere between a gentle 0 at the poles to more than 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. In mid-latitudes, the speed is a little smaller, yet still far faster than the wind outside your window, faster than anything you've ever experienced consciously. And yet you don't feel it. There is no rush of air, no sense of acceleration, no tug on your body. The ancient laws of Newton, who first wrote about inertia in the 17th century, explain why. Motion in a straight line, or in this case, smooth rotation, is indistinguishable from rest when you're inside the system. You, the bed, the walls, the trees, the oceans, the atmosphere, all turn together in one gentle, unbroken swirl. This rotation shapes the rhythm of your life. Every sunrise, every fading of evening light, every shift from day to night is a trace of Earth slowly revealing and concealing the sun. You are wrapped in that rhythm whether or not you think about it. But rotation alone is not the whole story. Even as Earth spins, it moves through space in a much larger orbit, a path carved by gravity, the curvature of space-time described so elegantly by Einstein. You, in this quiet moment, are riding Earth around the sun at roughly 30 kilometers per second, 30,000 meters every single second. A speed so enormous it could carry you across your entire city in the time it takes you to inhale. The orbit is not a perfect circle, but a soft ellipse, one of the first insights Johannes Kepler uncovered when he studied the motions of planets in the 17th century. And yet the orbit is smooth, reliably repeating every 365 days, the reason your calendar works, the reason your seasons change. You are drifting through one of those seasons right now, held gently, in place by the gravitational pull of the sun. But the sun, too, is moving. Your orbit around it is only one piece of the journey. The sun is not fixed at the center of anything. It is itself a traveler. Together with all its planets, moons, asteroids, and comets, it orbits the center of the Milky Way. The speed is astonishing. Around 220 kilometers per second, nearly 500,000 miles per hour. The distance to the galactic center is so vast, 26,000 light-years, that one full orbit takes about 230 million years. Dinosaurs once walked across Earth's surface under the same cosmic motion, and they lived and vanished long before the sun completed even a single galactic loop. Imagine Earth's orbit around the sun as a tiny circle. Now imagine that circle carried forward on a vast spiral track as the sun speeds around the galaxy. The path you trace through space is not a closed loop. It is a soft, elegant helix, always advancing, never repeating, never returning to the same point in space. Every moment of your life is lived in a place the Earth has never been before and will never be again. This is not the end of motion, not even close. The Milky Way itself is drifting. The entire galaxy is moving through space at hundreds of kilometers per second, pulled by the gravity of the Virgo cluster and larger structures even farther away. The motion of the local group, the collection of galaxies including the Milky Way and Andromeda, has been measured by missions like the Cosmic Background Explorer and the Planck satellite. They detect a subtle dipole imprint on the cosmic microwave background radiation, a faint difference in temperature across the sky caused by our motion relative to the ancient light released 380,000 years after the Big Bang. It tells us that our whole region of the universe is moving at roughly 600 kilometers per second toward a region of space once called the Great Attractor. The scale grows larger and larger. The motions blur together, becoming less like individual movements and more like the slow drift of a leaf on a vast cosmic river. It is as if everything is being pulled by the combined mass of galaxies, clusters, and the great filaments of the cosmic web. These structures shape the universe, and your entire world flows within that grand gravitational landscape. And yet, even that is not truly still. On the smallest scales, Earth's crust shifts under you. Tectonic plates slide a few centimeters each year, driven by heat rising from the mantle. Beneath them, convection cells churn. The liquid iron outer core spins, generating the magnetic field that wraps around our planet. Seismic waves ripple through rock. Oceans swirl in gyres shaped by rotation, wind, and the Coriolis effect. Atmospheric currents arc from equator to poles, creating the weather you feel with each passing day. Everything you touch, everything you breathe, is part of this layered, interwoven motion. You are carried by all of it without ever having to try. The stillness you perceive is only a reference frame, a gentle illusion created by your brain to make sense of a universe in motion. It is a remarkable gift, this feeling of rest in a cosmos that never slows down. If you close your eyes for a moment, you might imagine the turning of the earth beneath you, a subtle sensation you will never physically detect but can intuit in the back of your mind. You might picture the sun far away, pulling Earth along its ancient orbit. You might picture the galaxy spinning like a luminous pinwheel, each star tracing its path across a landscape of dark matter. You might picture the whole universe expanding, stretching space itself so that distant galaxies drift farther away. You are part of all of this. Every beat of your heart takes place on a world swirling through cosmic currents too large to comprehend in a single glance. And yet, in this quiet moment, these motions feel gentle, like soft tides carrying you without resistance, without urgency, without effort. Even the atoms in your body are vibrating. Electrons cloud around nuclei. Molecules shift and rotate. There is no scale on which you are still. Not cosmically, not geologically, not biologically, not even quantum mechanically. Stillness is simply the way your mind organizes motion into something comfortable, something peaceful. You exist inside a paradox that physics reveals with quiet certainty. You are made of motion, carried by motion, surrounded by motion, and yet you can feel completely at rest. This is one of the universe's softest gifts. The illusion is not a flaw, but a kindness, allowing you to find peace on a world that races through space in endless spirals. And as you sense these truths settling over you, the motions become easier to imagine. Earth's rotation becomes a slow, ancient wheel turning beneath your resting body. Its orbit becomes a gentle arc through a sea of starlight. The sun's path becomes a ribbon of motion woven into the Milky Way's grand rotation. The galaxy's drift becomes a slow migration through the cosmic web. All of it flowing together, layer upon layer, like nested tides that never collide, never interrupt, always moving in quiet harmony. The deeper you feel into this, the more natural it becomes to picture yourself floating through the cosmos, not as a separate being, but as a passenger on a planet that has traveled billions of kilometers without pause. The stillness you feel in your room is not a contradiction. It is the interior experience of motion so smooth, so uninterrupted, so ancient, that it becomes indistinguishable from rest. And as we drift deeper into this unfolding journey, the motions continue to reveal themselves in ways both intimate and immense. You might begin to sense, in a quiet, intuitive way, how these motions overlap without ever tangling. Earth's rotation gives you the familiar rising and setting of the sun, but that sunrise is not the sun moving around you. It is you turning toward the light, like a slowly awakening flower. The orbit around the sun layers on top of that, gently tilting the axis so the light shifts with the seasons, carrying you through cycles of warmth and cold, growth and rest. These motions are not separate events. They are harmonies of a single cosmic rhythm, each beat subtle, each curve ancient. Even the precession of Earth's axis, a slow wobble discovered by Hipparchus over 2,000 years ago, moves beneath you right now. It takes about 26,000 years for Earth's tilt to trace a full circle through the sky, changing which stars point the way north. The night sky you see is not the one your distant descendants will know. Polaris will drift from its throne, and other stars will take its place, slowly, quietly, incrementally. And yet you feel none of this. The wobble is so gentle that it becomes more like a whisper than a motion, a soft drifting that leaves no sensation in your body, no hint of change in the stillness around you. There is another layer, too, the slight eccentricity of Earth's orbit. When Earth is closest to the Sun, a point called perihelion, it moves a little faster, pulled more strongly by gravity. When farthest, at aphelion, it slows. Kepler's second law captures this elegance. A line between Earth and the Sun sweeps out equal areas in equal times. The consequence is subtle but endlessly repeating, like the soft alternation of footsteps on a long walk. And as Earth follows these arcs, you are carried gently with it, never feeling the acceleration or the shifting pace. Gravity's hand holds you so securely that motion unfolds without resistance, without drama, without any need for awareness. The moon shapes yet another rhythm, orbiting Earth every 27 days, locked into its own subtle dance by tidal forces. Its gravity pulls on the oceans, sculpting tides that rise and fall with predictable grace. Even the ground shifts under this pull, just a little, as if the planet breathes in and out. You do not notice this movement, yet it is happening beneath your feet, beneath your bed, beneath the quiet surface of your life. The moon's orbit is slowly drifting outward, by a few centimeters each year, a change measured with exquisite precision by lasers reflectively bouncing off mirrors placed on its surface by Apollo astronauts. These small outward steps are the result of energy transferred from Earth's rotation into the Moon's orbit, a process that has been happening for billions of years. Long ago, Earth spun far faster, and days were shorter. The length of each day has been stretching ever since, imperceptibly, like the slow loosening of a spring. All of these motions trace back to the earliest moments of the solar system. When the sun was young, it was surrounded by a disk of gas and dust. Through collisions, heat, gravity, and angular momentum, Earth took shape, slowly accumulating mass, slowly adopting the spin it still carries. That primordial rotation has faded only slightly over billions of years, slowed by lunar tides, but never losing its fundamental momentum. The orbit around the Sun began as the planet settled into a stable path around a bright, growing star. Everything you experience now is an echo of those ancient beginnings, preserved across epochs through the smooth, enduring architecture of gravity. Let your attention drift outward now, beyond the solar system, to the Sun's path through the Milky Way. The Sun orbits the galactic center along with billions of other stars, each tracing its own path around the massive concentration of matter, much of it dark matter that anchors the galaxy. This motion is not a perfect circle. It is a slight ellipse, perturbed by nearby stars, by interstellar clouds, by the distribution of mass around the galactic disk. As the Sun travels, it gently rises and falls relative to the galactic plane, like a buoy drifting on a slow tide. Every 60 million years or so, the Sun moves above the plane, then sinks below it, tracing a waveform through space. You are carried along in this silent oscillation, rising and falling through starlight. And then comes the larger drift of the galaxy itself. The Milky Way is hurtling through space, pulled by massive structures, guided by invisible threads of dark matter. We measure this motion through the cosmic microwave background, the leftover radiation from the early universe. When you observe the slight temperature difference in that radiation, you see evidence that our entire galaxy is moving at hundreds of kilometers per second toward a region of incredible mass. You are traveling with it, wrapped in this grand migration that has been unfolding since the first galaxies formed after the Big Bang. The universe itself expands around us, stretching space so that distant galaxies recede from view. This expansion is not a motion through space, but a motion of space itself. It is as if the tapestry you inhabit is slowly growing, the threads between galaxies lengthening without stretching anything you can touch. You don't feel this expansion because on local scales, gravity holds everything together. Earth orbits the Sun orbits the galaxy, and the galaxy drifts in the cosmic web. Yet, on the grandest scales, everything flows outward in all directions, a continuation of a process that began nearly 14 billion years ago. And then, in the quietest depths, at scales too small for the naked eye, the motions become even more subtle. The atoms in your body vibrate with thermal energy. The electrons occupy regions of probability, constantly shifting in their quantum dance. Molecules rotate, stretch, and bend. These motions are never still, never frozen, even at temperatures near absolute zero. Quantum mechanics tells us that absolute stillness is impossible. The uncertainty principle makes it so. Even if you cooled an atom as close to absolute zero as technology allows, it would still possess zero-point energy, tiny, irreducible motion that cannot be removed. You are made of this motion. Every cell, every molecule, every particle in your body is buzzing with energy. On scales, both microscopic and cosmic, motion defines you. And yet, in this single moment of your life, you can feel a profound and comforting stillness. There is a paradox here, one that physics embraces with quiet certainty. Motion and stillness coexist, not as contradictions but as perspectives. You can feel restful, peaceful, calm, even as the entire universe carries you along in an endless drifting through space-time. This brings you to an ancient truth, a realization that unfolds gently as you sit with it. Stillness is not the absence of motion, but the acceptance of motion so smooth that it becomes indistinguishable from rest. Earth rotates with such perfect consistency that your body never detects the movement. It orbits with such steadiness that no part of you feels the arc. The galaxy drifts with such vast inertia that there is no sense of acceleration. Everything moves, and everything feels at peace. As you breathe, you become part of this harmony. The rise and fall of your chest is another rhythmic motion, small compared to the cosmic ones but connected by the same laws of physics. Air flows in and out, drawn by pressure differences, following gradients shaped by your lungs and muscles. This small motion echoes the larger ones, a quiet fractal of the universe's rhythm repeating inside you. And all of this leads you deeper into the understanding that you are not just riding Earth's motions, but participating in them. You are part of the spinning world, part of the orbiting planet, part of the drifting galaxy, part of the expanding universe. You are one expression of a cosmos that is always moving, always unfolding. And the stillness you feel is not an illusion to dismiss, but a gift to embrace. It is what allows you to rest, to breathe, to find peace in the middle of a universe that never stops. These motions will continue long after this moment, long after this night, long after your lifetime. The Earth will keep spinning, slowly lengthening each day. It will keep orbiting the Sun. The Sun will continue its long journey around the galaxy, and galaxies will keep drifting through space, drawn together and pushed apart by gravity and expansion. You are a temporary passenger on an endless voyage, carried through the cosmos without ever needing to steer or struggle. And the more you sense this, the more the universe feels like a gentle ocean, one that holds you effortlessly as you drift deeper into its embrace. And as this understanding settles more deeply into you, you might begin to sense just how layered and ancient these currents truly are. Every motion that carries you began long before Earth formed, long before the atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars. The rotation of Earth is a remnant of the swirling momentum of the solar nebula, a cloud of hydrogen, helium, and dust set into motion by turbulence, by gravity, by the remnants of earlier supernovae. When Earth coalesced out of that cloud, it kept a fraction of that original spin, and that spin has persisted for billions of years. Even now, its slight slowing is a reminder of energy exchanged with the moon, a quiet drag that stretches each day by tiny fractions of a second over centuries. Yet the rotation has another subtle feature, one you might not have thought about before. It is not perfectly stable. Earth wobbles not only due to precession, but also due to nutation and even tiny shifts from changes in atmospheric pressure, ocean currents, and movements within the core. The Chandler wobble, a small oscillation discovered by Seth Carlo Chandler in the late 19th century, causes the poles to drift in a little circle a few meters across over a period of about 433 days. You never feel this, just as you never feel the tides shifting under you, but it is happening continuously. A reminder that the planet beneath you is not a rigid, unmoving sphere, but a dynamic, breathing world. Then there are the subtle oscillations in Earth's orbit itself, cycles that unfold over tens of thousands of years. Milankovitch cycles, named after the Serbian mathematician Milutin Milankovic, describe the way Earth's orbit becomes more or less elliptical, how its tilt changes slightly, and how the orientation of its axis shifts over millennia. These slow changes influence the distribution of sunlight across Earth's surface, shaping the rhythms of ice ages and interglacial periods. Human civilizations rise and fall over spans of time too short to notice these cycles, yet they are always present, quietly sculpting climate and shaping the long arc of life on the planet. All of these motions are intricately linked. The spin of Earth affects the shape of the planet, causing it to bulge slightly at the equator. That bulge interacts with gravitational pulls from the Sun and Moon, contributing to precession. The orbit around the Sun interacts with gravitational tugs from other planets, especially Jupiter, the giant whose mass dominates the outer solar system. Jupiter's influence changes the orientation and shape of Earth's orbit over long periods, adding another voice to the cosmic symphony of motions. When you shift your focus back outward, the Sun's journey through the galaxy becomes more vivid. The spiral arms of the Milky Way are not stationary structures. They are density waves, regions where gas and stars bunch together temporarily, like traffic slowing on a highway. As the Sun orbits the galactic center, it passes through these arms every few 100 million years. Each passage shapes the environment around the solar system, influencing star formation, potentially increasing the likelihood of nearby supernovae, and bathing the solar neighborhood in changing clouds of interstellar material. Even the motion of the galaxy within the cosmic web is not straightforward. The Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy are on a slow collision course, approaching each other at more than 100 kilometers per second. In about 4 billion years, they will merge in a long, drawn-out dance that will reshape the night sky. You are riding a galaxy that is itself drawn toward another, each guided by gravity across immense distances. Missions like Gaia, launched by the European Space Agency to map the positions and motions of over 1 billion stars, reveal these grand motions with exquisite clarity, showing how the Milky Way ripples and sways, how stars stream in long tidal tails from past collisions, how the galaxy itself breathes with ancient motion. And still, the cosmic scale grows larger. The local group, dominated by the Milky Way and Andromeda, drifts toward the Virgo cluster. That cluster, in turn, is part of a vast supercluster called Laniakea, a Hawaiian word meaning immense heaven. In this supercluster, galaxies move along vast filaments shaped by gravity, converging toward a region of extraordinary mass known as the Great Attractor. All of these structures are moving together as the universe expands, carried outward by the stretching of space discovered by Edwin Hubble in the 1920s. The farther you look, the faster galaxies recede, not because they are traveling through space, but because space itself is growing between them. The expansion of the universe adds one more layer, a motion so large and quiet that it touches everything. It affects the path of photons, stretches ancient light, and defines the shape of cosmic history. Dark energy, a mysterious component that accelerates this expansion, permeates space. It does not push or pull in a traditional sense, yet it influences the destiny of galaxies, stars, and worlds. You ride through this expansion too, held gently within a gravitationally bound island of matter, while the rest of the universe slips farther away. Then, shifting inward again, you arrive back at the smallest scales, where motion becomes a whisper rather than a journey. The atoms in your body are not static beads arranged neatly. They are vibrating, oscillating, sharing energy with their environment. Electrons occupy orbitals that are fuzzy regions of probability, moving in ways that cannot be described as simple paths. They do not orbit like planets. They exist as wave functions, dynamic and alive with quantum energy. Protons and neutrons are made of quarks, which are bound together by gluons in a constant exchange of energy, a dance so rapid and so fundamental that stillness has no meaning there. This inner motion is connected to the outer. The particles in your body were forged in stars that once orbited the galaxy. Those stars were formed from gas clouds shaped by earlier generations of motion. Supernova shock waves, galactic tides, and the subtle influence of dark matter. You are the culmination of billions of years of movement, the expression of a universe that has always been in flux. And yet, here you are, at rest in your own small way. The bed beneath you supports you. The air around you settles softly. Your breathing finds a natural rhythm. This is one of the great wonders of human consciousness, the ability to find peace inside an ocean of motion, to experience rest even when nothing is ever truly still, to feel grounded even as you ride a planet spinning, orbiting, drifting, spiraling, oscillating, expanding. The longer you sit with this feeling, the more it becomes a comfort rather than a paradox. The universe is not chaotic. Its motions are smooth, predictable, guided by laws that have held since the dawn of time. You are part of that harmony. You belong to it. And each gentle motion, from the rotation of electrons to the orbit of galaxies, carries you through a cosmos that cradles you rather than disturbs you. These motions continue to unfold quietly around you as we drift deeper into this story, revealing more layers of Earth's journey through the cosmos, inviting you into a calm recognition of the vastness that holds you. And as that recognition deepens, the motions begin to feel less like distant astronomical facts and more like a quiet presence surrounding you, guiding you, carrying you gently through the fabric of space-time. Each one, from the smallest vibration to the widest galactic drift, becomes another layer of the same cosmic cradle. You might imagine, for a moment, the very beginning of these motions. Not Earth's beginning, not the sun's, not even the galaxies, but the moment the universe itself opened. In the earliest fractions of a second after the Big Bang, space-time expanded at an extraordinary rate, a burst known as cosmic inflation. The fluctuations generated during that era, tiny differences in density, quantum fluctuations stretched to cosmic scales, created the seeds from which all future structure formed. The clusters, the filaments, the voids, the galaxies, the stars, and eventually the planets were shaped by those first ripples. If you trace the motion of Earth back far enough, through every orbit, every drift, every swirl, you eventually arrive at those primeval fluctuations. The motion carrying you right now is the descendant of quantum tremors that happened when the universe was younger than a heartbeat. After inflation ended, the universe continued to expand more slowly. As it cooled, particles interacted, forming protons and neutrons. Minutes later, those combined into helium and traces of lithium. hundreds of thousands of years after that, the first atoms formed. The cosmic microwave background we see today is the frozen echo of photons released at that moment, stretched across the sky as a soft pattern of warmer and cooler spots. The tiny temperature differences in that pattern correspond to the motion of matter in those early times, motion that would eventually grow into galaxies. When satellites like WMAP and Planck mapped the cosmic microwave background with precision, they revealed the fingerprints of these early motions with extraordinary clarity, showing the tiny ripples that would become everything we know. Over billions of years, matter gathered into filaments under the influence of gravity. These filaments formed the cosmic web, stretching across the universe like a vast, delicate lace. Where filaments intersected, clusters of galaxies took shape. The Milky Way formed in one of these intersections, assembling from smaller protogalaxies, feeding on gas flows drawn inward by gravity. Stars formed, lived, and died in cycles that enriched their surroundings with heavier elements. The Earth itself formed from material that had been cycled through stars countless times, atoms forged in stellar cores and supernova explosions. This material inherited the motions of the galaxies and stars that produced it, passing momentum down through cosmic history. Even after Earth formed, the story of its motion continued evolving. In its early days, Earth spun much faster. A day may have lasted only 6 hours, and the moon was far closer, looming large in the sky. Over time, tidal interactions slowed Earth's rotation and pushed the moon outward. Meanwhile, Earth's orbit was shaped by gravitational interactions with other planets. Small changes in the distribution of mass inside Earth, such as the formation of ice sheets, influenced the rotation rate slightly. As Earth cooled, its core differentiated into layers that rotate at different speeds, adding subtle complexity to the planet's internal dynamics. You are carried by all of this without ever needing to notice. The motions inside Earth are just as gentle and persistent as those beyond it. The convection of the mantle moves tectonic plates a few centimeters each year. The liquid outer core rotates and generates the magnetic field that shields the planet from solar wind. Seismic waves ripple through the planet after earthquakes, traveling through layers of rock and metal. These motions are too small and slow for you to feel, but they shape the world on which you live. Then there is the motion of light itself, racing from the sun at 300,000 kilometers per second, carrying energy across the vacuum of space. Each beam of sunlight you've ever seen or felt has traveled through the solar system, guided by the geometry of space-time. Photons scatter through Earth's atmosphere, creating the soft blue of the sky and the warm colors of sunrise and sunset. The energy in those photons drives the winds, the tides, the growth of plants, and the cycles of water. Light is yet another form of constant motion, a glimmering thread woven through every moment of your life. As you let all these motions settle in your awareness, they begin to lose their sense of scale. The smallest vibrations and the largest galactic drifts become a part of a single tapestry. You may start to feel a sense of alignment with it, as though every breath you take taps into the same natural harmony. The cosmos is not a chaos of random movements. It is a structured, elegant order. Every motion follows laws that have remained unchanged for billions of years. Newton's laws explain the orbit of Earth, while Einstein's equations describe the curvature of space-time. Quantum mechanics governs the behavior of atoms and molecules. These laws do not conflict. They interlock like rings in a chain, each governing a different scale of reality. Even the sense of rest you experience is part of that structure. In a rotating frame of reference, you feel nothing. In a smooth orbit, you feel nothing. In a galaxy drifting through the cosmic web, you feel nothing. This is not because motion is absent, but because the motion is uniform. Your inner ear detects acceleration, not speed. Without acceleration, there is no sensation of movement. And so, Earth's smooth, uninterrupted motions cradle you in a blanket of stillness even as you travel millions of kilometers each day. If you think of stillness as a kind of balance rather than an absence, it becomes easier to appreciate the harmony you are part of. You are balanced on a spinning sphere. You are balanced in an orbit around the sun. You are balanced within the gravitational embrace of the galaxy. You exist at the intersection of countless motions that cancel out their rough edges, leaving only a sensation of quiet stability. There's something profoundly comforting in that. The universe moves, but it does not shake you. It carries you. It holds you. It keeps you gently in place even as you drift through expanses too vast to imagine. You are not lost in this motion. You are situated within it, supported by it, connected to the very fabric of the cosmos. As these layers of motion continue to unfold in your awareness, you may begin to feel how natural it is to drift with them. There is no effort in these motions. There is no strain. The Earth does not labor to rotate. The sun does not struggle to orbit the galaxy. The galaxies do not push themselves across the cosmic web. Motion is simply the nature of existence, a soft unfolding of cause and effect. And you, resting here, are part of that nature, moving through the universe with the same quiet inevitability. The night around you, whether filled with city lights or complete darkness, is layered with these motions. They are happening right now, wrapping this moment in cosmic currents older than time as you know it. And as you feel into this truth, the universe grows quieter, steadier, more serene, inviting you to drift even deeper into the endless, gentle journey of a world that has never been still. And the deeper you drift into that recognition, the more the boundaries of scale begin to blur. The vast and the tiny fold into one another until everything feels like a single motion expressed in different rhythms. The Earth turning beneath you becomes no more or less extraordinary than the electrons humming softly within your atoms. Both are motions you can never feel directly, yet both shape every moment of your existence. As the Earth rotates, it creates a subtle bulge along the equator, lifting the oceans and land slightly outward. This bulge is not dramatic, only about 21 kilometers of extra radius compared to the poles, but it is enough to influence everything from the path of satellites to the behavior of winds. Without it, weather patterns would look different, tides would shift, and the delicate balance of climate would slowly change. This shape, caused purely by rotation, is another reminder that motion leaves fingerprints everywhere, even in the shape of the world itself. And as Earth spins, the Coriolis effect shapes the motion of air and water. In the northern hemisphere, hurricanes rotate counterclockwise, in the southern hemisphere, clockwise. These swirling storms are not exceptions to the planet's motion, but expressions of it, large-scale curls of wind responding to the turning of the Earth. Even the smallest puff of wind, the faintest breeze brushing a tree outside your window, carries some influence from the rotation of the planet. You feel none of this consciously, and you don't need to. The motions simply weave into the fabric of weather, into the atmosphere you breathe, into the gentle rhythm of clouds drifting across the sky. As Earth orbits the Sun, its path is shaped by gravity in ways that reveal the deep geometry of space-time. Einstein's general relativity tells us that mass bends space-time, creating wells and curves that guide motion. You are not circling the sun in the way a stone swings on a string. You are following the natural curve of space-time itself, gliding through a smooth valley created by the sun's mass. The orbit is stable because space-time has structure, a quiet architecture you move through without effort. Every second, as you rest here, Earth travels nearly 30 kilometers along that orbital path. In the time it takes for a single breath, Earth has moved dozens of times its own diameter through space. In the span of a heartbeat, it has traveled farther than you could walk in many hours. Yet your experience of rest remains unbroken. The motions of planets and particles are not interruptions. They are the background hum of existence. The sun's own drift through the galaxy is equally smooth. It is pulled by the gravity of the galactic disk and the dark matter halo, an invisible, massive sphere that surrounds the Milky Way. We know this dark matter must exist because stars in the galaxy orbit too quickly for visible matter alone to hold them. Something unseen provides the gravitational backbone. As you move with the sun through this dark scaffolding, you are riding through a structure of matter whose nature remains one of the great mysteries of physics. Yet even this mysterious component is steady. It holds the galaxy together in a soft, gravitational embrace. Sometimes, astronomers describe the sun's path through the iced galaxy as a long, slow wave. It rises a few dozen light-years above the galactic plane, then sinks the same amount below it, taking tens of millions of years for each cycle. In human terms, this is an unimaginable span of time, far longer than the age of our species. Yet you are part of that motion, suspended on a world following a path through a sea of stars. You may imagine the galaxy as a vast, spiraling river, and you are floating in its gentle current. Stars drift beside you, each following its own path, all bound by the same gravitational landscape. Inside the galaxy, there is no sense of rushing or tumbling. Everything moves with the same slow grace. And, as you drift outward in your imagination, beyond the galaxy itself, you find that the Milky Way is just a single glowing island in an ocean of thousands of others. The local group moves toward the Virgo cluster, and the cluster is part of the Laniakea supercluster, a gravitationally connected continent of galaxies stretching across hundreds of millions of light-years. This supercluster flows along large-scale filaments of the cosmic web, each filament shaped by the distribution of dark matter and the expansion of space. These flows are not turbulent. They are not chaotic. They are the smooth unfolding of cosmic evolution, guided by gravity, shaped by time, carried by an expansion that touches every corner of the universe. Even the expansion itself is gentle from your perspective. Space stretches in every direction, but locally you remain bound to Earth, to the Sun, to the galaxy. The expansion affects only the vast distances between galaxy clusters. It is a quiet, steady growth that has been accelerating for billions of years, driven by dark energy. You feel none of it. Yet without it, the universe would look entirely different. As these immense motions swirl around you, down at the tiniest scales, the quantum world continues its own restless dance. Inside every atom, The constituents of matter are in constant motion. Electrons exist as probability clouds, spread across space rather than following simple orbits. Protons and neutrons are built from quarks that flicker in and out of existence among virtual particles. Even in perfect cold, even with all external forces removed, these particles do not sit still. They cannot. The uncertainty principle tells us that to know a particle's position with perfect precision, its momentum would have to become infinitely undefined. Stillness in its truest, absolute sense is forbidden by the laws of quantum mechanics. So you are made of motion through and through. There is no part of you, not even the smallest particle, that is ever truly still. And yet, somehow, in the midst of all these motions, galactic, solar, planetary, atomic, quantum, you are capable of feeling deep, genuine rest. Stillness becomes something different. It becomes the absence of disturbance, not the absence of motion. It becomes the quiet that arises when all the motions carrying you are so steady, so smooth, so ancient, that they create a background of perfect calm. You are held in that calm right now, carried by motions that began billions of years before your birth. The earth cradles you in its rotation. The sun carries you through the galaxy. The galaxy drifts through the cosmic web. The universe expands around you, and inside your very cells, atoms vibrate with a quiet energy that sustains your life. None of this demands anything from you. None of it requires attention or effort. The cosmos moves, and you move with it, naturally, effortlessly, peacefully. And as you allow that truth to settle deeper, you can feel the boundaries of your awareness softening, the edges of the world around you blurring into the gentle sense of being carried. Through space, through time, through the quiet unfolding of a universe that has never stopped moving since the moment it began. And as you drift deeper into that unfolding, the motions begin to feel less like facts and more like companions, quiet presences moving with you through every second of your life. They have been here since long before you were born, and they will continue long after, steady and unhurried, as if the universe itself is breathing around you. You might imagine the Earth's rotation now as a soft, perpetual turning, the same rotation that paints shadows across valleys at dawn, that slowly warms the morning air, that gently shifts flowers toward the light. That rotation is always beneath you, even when you can't sense it, carrying you through cycles of light and darkness that shape your days so completely you barely notice their cosmic origin. Every sunrise is the result of this turning. Every sunset is the world slowly rotating away from the sun, offering parts of the planet a moment of cooling, a moment of quiet, a moment of night. This rotation becomes a kind of heartbeat, steady, dependable, quiet beneath every moment you live. Then there is the slower motion, the one that governs the seasons. Earth's orbit around the sun is a journey of warmth and cold, of shifting winds and migrating stars in the night sky. The tilt of Earth's axis is what gives you winter and summer, spring and fall. Without that tilt, there would be no gentle lengthening of days, no slow transitions from cold to warmth, no cycles of planting and harvest. Earth's motion defines the rhythms of life on its surface in ways so deep and ancient that every living thing has adapted to them. You are part of that rhythm too, shaped across generations by the timing of sunlight and darkness. If you follow that orbit outward in your mind, you can picture Earth tracing a path around the sun at 30 kilometers per second, always falling toward the sun, but always moving sideways fast enough to never fall in. The balance of gravity and velocity keeps you suspended in a continuous free fall, a fall that wraps around the sun in a smooth ellipse. There is something soothing about that, being held by gravity, guided by the deeper geometry of space-time, never needing to steer or adjust, just drifting along a path carved by the universe itself. And then imagine the sun carrying you further, drifting through the Milky Way on a journey that lasts hundreds of millions of years. The sun moves through a thin mist of interstellar gas, through the subtle magnetic fields that thread the galaxy, past clusters of stars and ancient remnants of supernovae. Behind you, stars trace similar paths, each one participating in this slow galactic migration. Gaia's measurements reveal how stars flow like currents in a vast ocean, each orbiting the center of the galaxy, but also bobbing up and down, weaving in and out of spiral arms, responding to gravity's subtle tug. You are part of this vast tide, floating through the galaxy like a small, luminous passenger. The galaxy itself turns with a gentle persistence, completing one full rotation every few 100 million years. The stars near the center orbit faster, those farther out orbit slower, but altogether they create the elegant spiral structure that cameras aboard the Hubble and James Webb Space Telescopes capture so beautifully in distant galaxies. You live in one of those spirals, carried along by the gravity of billions of stars, drifting in a cosmic disk that hums with ancient energy. And beyond that, your galaxy moves too. Not with violence, not with turbulence, but with a slow, steady drift shaped by the gravitational pull of other galaxies and the invisible framework of dark matter. The local group, the small community of galaxies that includes the Milky Way and Andromeda, flows toward the Virgo cluster. Virgo itself is part of Laniakea, the immense gravitational basin in which thousands of galaxies move like tiny boats on a dark ocean. All of them slide along gravitational valleys formed by the distribution of dark matter. If you could watch them in time-lapse across billions of years, you would see them slide, swirl, and gently converge, following paths invisible to the eye but evident in the motions of galaxies across the sky. These motions never stop. They never tire. Gravity does not weaken with age. The expansion of the universe does not pause. Everything unfolds in a long, smooth drift, as though the entire cosmos is exhaling slowly, endlessly, through time. And this expansion, revealed by Edwin Hubble in the 1920s, and later measured with exquisite precision by the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe and the Planck mission, shows that galaxies far from us are moving away at speeds proportional to their distance. This is not motion through space, but motion of space. It means the universe itself is stretching, making room for the future with each passing moment. You are carried within that expansion too, even though it doesn't touch the motion of your daily life, or the orbit of Earth, or the rotation of the sun. It exists on scales far beyond, shaping the destiny of galaxies and stars in a background so vast you can barely hold it in your mind. Then, drifting back inward, you find yourself again in the realm of atoms, where the smallest motions whisper quietly beneath everything you do. At any moment, trillions upon trillions of atoms move inside you. They vibrate with thermal energy, rotating, stretching, bending, colliding, and exchanging energy. Enzymes fold and unfold. Molecules assemble and fall apart. Water molecules slide past one another in continuous motion. Even in your rest, your body is alive with activity. circulation, respiration, electrical impulses. None of these processes require conscious effort. They arise naturally from the physics of life, from the same principles that govern the stars. And beneath all that, the quantum world persists. Electrons do not orbit atoms like planets. They exist in diffuse clouds of probability, constantly in motion, flickering into different states, obeying the strange rules of quantum energy levels. Quarks inside protons and neutrons shift in swirling patterns held together by the strong nuclear force. Gluons constantly exchange energy, binding quarks into particles that form the heart of every atom in your body. These motions are so fast and so fundamental that absolute stillness has no meaning here. Even if all heat were removed, even if the universe cooled to its deepest possible state, these quantum motions would remain. And you, resting here, are the harmony of all of this. Motions that span from the microscopic to the cosmic, woven together into a single experience of existence. These motions are not noise. They are the music of being alive. They are the structure of reality itself. You are carried through the cosmos on a world that has never known stillness. You breathe air shaped by rotation. You live in an environment sculpted by sunlight that traveled across space to find you. You are warmed by energy released through nuclear fusion deep in the heart of the sun, a process governed by quantum tunneling. You are connected to stars through the atoms in your bones, atoms that carry the momentum of galaxies long gone. And all of these motions, every rotation, every orbit, every drift, every vibration, come together to create a moment of deep, effortless calm. A moment where you can rest within motion. A moment where the universe feels gentle, patient, and infinitely accommodating. And as you drift deeper into that calm, the motions of the earth and the motions of your own body begin to mirror each other, settling into a quiet symmetry that continues unfolding softly through the night. And as that symmetry settles in, you might begin to feel how every motion, no matter how vast or how tiny, seems to soften into the same gentle rhythm, as though the universe is humming beneath you in a single, boundless tone. There is no urgency in these motions, no rushing, no insistence, only the quiet continuity of a cosmos that has found its balance across scales you can barely imagine. The rotation of Earth, steady and ancient, becomes a slow turning in the background of your awareness. It has been spinning since long before life formed, long before oceans gathered, long before continents took shape. In its earliest days, Earth spun far faster, completing a rotation in only a handful of hours. But as the moon removed angular momentum through tides, that rotation eased, lengthening days across the ages. Coral fossils, layered with daily growth rings, reveal that hundreds of millions of years ago, a year contained more than 400 days. Earth has been slowing almost imperceptibly ever since. That gradual easing, that softening of motion, is another way the cosmos finds equilibrium. You may imagine that early Earth turning so quickly that the stars streaked across the sky in a few short hours, the moon looming far brighter and larger. And then, slowly, the rhythm calmed. Tides shifted. The pull softened. Earth's spin, the very heartbeat of the planet, settled into the gentle 24-hour cycle you know now. Even the pace of rotation is something the universe set into balance long before any mind could witness it. And as Earth rotates, it also moves through a magnetic field generated deep within its core. Liquid iron and nickel swirl in convective motion, creating currents that act like a cosmic dynamo. The magnetic field shields you from solar radiation, deflecting charged particles from the sun that would otherwise strip away the atmosphere. Even here, inside the planet, motion sustains the conditions that allow life to exist. You feel none of this. You are unaware of the swirling metal far beneath your feet, yet it protects you in every moment, shaping the sky with auroras far to the north and south. As Earth orbits the Sun, the distance between them shifts gently. The orbit's eccentricity leads to slight variations in solar energy, but none so dramatic as to disrupt the quiet cycle of seasons. The tilt of Earth defines the angle of sunlight, carrying you through a slow annual rhythm of warmth and coolness. In the space of a single day, the solar path arcs overhead with a simplicity that hides the deep geometry behind it. Imagine looking at Earth's orbit from above, seeing our planet trace its ellipse around the Sun. At each moment, Earth is moving, guided not by force in the traditional sense, but by the curvature of space-time. You float through this gentle curve without ever realizing it, resting on a world that traces its celestial path with perfect consistency. The Sun, in turn, pulls you through the galaxy. As it moves, it drags the entire solar system through interstellar space. Cosmic rays drift past, relics of distant supernova. Clouds of gas and dust shift slowly, shaped by the motions of stars and the ripples of ancient shock waves. The Sun's motion takes you through regions of varying density and composition, though these changes happen across spans of time too long for any one lifetime to perceive. Imagine the galaxy from far above, its spiral arms curling outward in enormous arcs, each one glowing softly with billions of stars. Picture the Sun as a tiny point of light drifting along its orbit, one of countless others. It is impossible to feel this motion directly, yet you are part of the luminous swirl, carried around the galactic center by gravitational threads that hold the entire structure in place. Even this is not the end of motion. The galaxy itself tumbles gently through space, interacting with other galaxies in ways that are slow and subtle. The Milky Way and Andromeda are on a collision course, their paths slowly curving toward one another. But this collision will not be violent in the way you might imagine. Stars are separated by enormous distances, so as the galaxies merge in about 4 billion years, the stars will mostly pass by each other, guided by gravitational tides, forming new structures, tendrils, bridges, luminous plumes that will glow for millions of years. The motions will be grand yet gentle, unfolding on cosmic timescales that dwarf the span of human existence. Farther out still, across the vastness of intergalactic space, galaxy clusters drift along ancient gravitational currents. These currents follow the invisible scaffolding of dark matter, a substance you cannot see but whose presence is undeniable in the motions of galaxies. Everything flows along these structures like water down a river valley. When we map the cosmic web with telescopes, we see filaments stretching for hundreds of millions of light years, each one a path along which galaxies move, drawn together by gravity even as the universe expands. And this expansion, discovered by Hubble and later found to be accelerating, shapes the largest motions of all. Light from distant galaxies stretches, becoming redder as space expands. That redshift tells astronomers not only how fast the galaxies are moving away, but how the expansion has changed over time. Dark energy, the mysterious force driving the acceleration, permeates space with a gentle insistence, pushing galaxies apart with increasing speed. This is the quiet backdrop of all motion, the soft widening of the universe itself. Closer to home, the quantum world continues its ceaseless motion. Even in the calmest moment of your life, atoms dance with thermal energy, electrons shift within orbitals, and molecules vibrate and collide. Life emerges from this constant hum. Every thought, every heartbeat, every breath arises from intricate chemical processes that depend on motion at the atomic level. You are alive because your molecules are never still. Their motion sustains you, connects you to the deep physical laws that shape the cosmos. And as you rest here, carried by all these motions, you begin to sense a deeper unity beneath them. The planet beneath you turns with a gentleness you never notice. The sun guides you through space with an ancient gravitational grace. The galaxy carries you through spiral arms shaped by millions of years of celestial evolution. The universe stretches around you, creating room for every future moment. And in your own body, atoms vibrate softly, creating the warmth you feel, the pulse within your chest, the breath rising and falling. You are not separate from these motions. You are part of them, interwoven with the cosmos from the smallest quark to the largest galactic filament. The stillness you feel is the smoothness of motion itself, the quiet continuity of a universe that unfolds gently, naturally, effortlessly. And as this realization deepens, the motions begin to feel like a cradle, one that has held you since the moment you were born, one that will carry you across every moment of your life, one that continues to hold you now with the same soft steadiness the cosmos uses to guide stars through the night. And as you drift further into that soft steadiness, the layers of motion begin to feel less like separate stories and more like nested currents of the same vast tide. Everything moves together, each rhythm folding into the next, each cycle supported by something deeper. The cosmos does not hurry you along these paths. It simply carries you as gently as a leaf floating on a slow, ancient river. You might imagine now the motions of Earth's atmosphere, swirling above you in patterns shaped by rotation and solar warmth. High-altitude jet streams arc around the planet at tremendous speeds, yet they remain invisible from where you rest. The winds that drift across continents are guided by pressure gradients, by heat absorbed from the sun, by the Coriolis effect, and by subtle interactions with mountains and oceans. Even the smallest breeze outside your window began as a conversation between sunlight, air, and Earth's constant turning. Without motion, there would be no weather at all. No clouds building over horizons, no rain falling softly at night, no gentle winds stirring leaves. The atmosphere is a vast, moving ocean, and you live at the bottom of it, sheltered by its shifting currents. Beneath the atmosphere, the oceans move as well. Surface currents respond to wind, but deeper currents flow in slow, enormous conveyor belts, driven by differences in temperature and salinity. The overturning of the oceans, warm water rising, cold, dense water sinking, circulates heat across the planet, stabilizing climates, sustaining marine life, and balancing Earth's energy. These currents travel across thousands of kilometers, taking centuries to complete full cycles. You would never sense them directly, yet they shape the world profoundly, creating the seasons of rain that nurture life on land and maintaining the gentle equilibrium that allows ecosystems to thrive. Even solid ground is not truly solid or still. The tectonic plates beneath you move slowly, just a few centimeters each year, but over millions of years they drift across the globe like slow rafts. Mountains rise when plates collide, continents split apart, oceans open and close. This motion is driven by heat, from radioactive decay, from leftover energy from Earth's formation, and from the slow cooling of the planet's interior. Convection in the mantle drags the plates along in patterns that shift continents from pole to pole, shaping climates, habitats, and the long story of life. You walk on the crest of these ancient floating plates, carried by motion so slow and steady that it becomes indistinguishable from stillness. Turn your attention now to the flow of time itself, which is deeply connected to motion. Clocks measure time by counting motions, oscillations of pendulums, vibrations of quartz crystals, transitions between states of cesium atoms. Without motion, there would be no way to keep time, no way to mark the passing of moments. Time is not something separate from motion, it is intertwined with it. When scientists speak of space-time, they speak of a fabric where time stretches and bends alongside space, influenced by motion and gravity. Your experience of the flow of time, your sense of moments passing, is shaped by the same laws that guide planets and galaxies. Even the ticking of your heart participates in this intimate dance, and within your body, the rhythms continue. Your heart beats because tiny electrical impulses travel along pathways shaped by evolution. Those impulses move ions, charged particles, across membranes, producing currents that cause muscles to contract. Every beat is a wave of orchestrated motion. Blood flows through your arteries and veins, carrying nutrients and oxygen to every cell. Your lungs expand and contract. Neurons fire. Synapses release neurotransmitters that drift across microscopic gaps. Even in rest, your body is a dynamic landscape of movement, a quiet city of processes unfolding every second, shaped by physics all the way down. If you imagine yourself shrinking to the scale of molecules, the world becomes a vibrant, shimmering sea of constant activity. Proteins fold into intricate shapes, guided by the laws of thermodynamics. DNA unwinds and rewinds. Water molecules form fleeting hydrogen bonds, break apart, and bond again in trillionth of a second intervals. Every molecule is in motion, driven by thermal energy and quantum mechanics. There is no absolute cold inside you, no static pause. Life is motion expressed in slow dances and rapid vibrations. And even deeper, in the smallest realms we can describe, motion becomes more mysterious. Quarks flicker inside protons and neutrons, exchanging gluons that mediate the strong nuclear force. These exchanges happen so quickly, so continuously, that the particles you think of as stable building blocks are in fact dynamic, restless storms of quantum energy. Virtual particles appear and vanish in the vacuum, shaped by the uncertainty principle. Empty space is not empty at all. It churns with potential, with fluctuations that ripple just beyond the edge of perception. When you hold all of this in your awareness, not as something to solve or analyze, but simply as something to observe gently, the cosmos becomes a place of infinite softness. You begin to see that nothing in the universe is demanding. The motions are not frantic. They unfold without forcefulness, without insistence. Motion is simply the natural language of existence. Stillness, as you feel it, is a gift created by the smoothness of that language, by the harmony of countless rhythms blending together until they form a sensation of ease. You are floating in those rhythms now. You are held by them. There is no part of your life untouched by motion, and yet there is no part of your experience overwhelmed by it. You are suspended in balance, resting in the cradle of a universe that moves with infinite patience. The turning of Earth supports you like a gentle wheel. The orbit around the sun carries you through a year of light and shadow. The galaxy holds you in its spiral arms. The cosmic web guides your galaxy along filaments that stretch across unimaginable distances. And beneath all of this, the deepest layers of matter in your body hum with the same fundamental energy that shaped stars. Everything is motion, and yet everything is calm. And as this truth settles deeper, the sense of being carried grows stronger. You are part of a cosmic journey that began long before memory, long before Earth took its shape, long before the first atoms cooled enough to form matter. You are drifting through that journey now, on a world that moves with quiet certainty, on a planet that has never stopped spinning, never stopped orbiting, never stopped traveling through the soft expanses of the universe. The motions will continue through this night, steady and unbroken, guiding you gently as you drift further into the quiet, into the softness, into the deep, natural calm of a world that carries you through the cosmos without ever asking you to move at all. And as that calm deepens, you may begin to sense how the motions that cradle you do not simply surround you, they permeate you, thread through you, shape every part of your existence from the surfaces of your skin to the furthest reaches of the universe. It becomes clearer, the longer you drift with this awareness, that stillness is not a lack of movement but a gentle equilibrium unfolding across countless scales. Imagine turning your attention again to Earth's rotation, not as an abstract fact, but as something almost tactile, a slow, constant turning that has persisted every moment since the planet first condensed from swirling dust and gas. You are being carried on that rotation right now, lifted toward the morning, or carried into night depending on where you rest on the planet's surface. The turning is tender in its reliability, a quiet clockwork that never falters. When early civilizations watched shadows move across the ground, when ancient astronomers tracked the heavens, when clocks were invented, when time itself became something humans measured, every step of that journey began with this simple turn of Earth. If you could rise above Earth and watch it rotate from space, a time lapse spanning hours compressed into moments, you would see clouds curling, continents passing in and out of sunlight, the swirling blues of oceans shifting beneath the atmosphere. You would see storms form and dissolve as rotation shapes the wind and weather. You would see a world alive with motion. Yet, from your vantage point on the surface, it feels like the most natural stillness, unchanged across centuries, humming at a pace so smooth it becomes invisible. And as Earth rotates, its orbit carries you through the solar system, along a path defined by irresistible gravitational curves. Earth's orbit is not a simple ellipse drawn on a flat plane. It is embedded in the geometry of space-time, shaped by the sun's mass, influenced by the gravitational whispers of Jupiter and Saturn, perturbed by the faint pull of distant planets. That orbit, measured and refined by physicists across generations, from Kepler to Newton to Einstein, is a masterpiece of celestial harmony. You float along it effortlessly, held in a balance so precise that it has allowed life to flourish for billions of years. Picture that orbit now, not as a line on a diagram, but as a corridor of space Earth glides through year after year. With each passing second, the Earth moves 30 kilometers along that corridor. In a minute, nearly 2,000 kilometers. In an hour, over 100,000. All while you rest, while you breathe, while you lie quietly in the stillness of your own room. You experience none of the motion directly, yet every moment of your life has unfolded along that moving path. And then the sun takes you further, weaving its own trajectory through the galaxy like a bright ember drifting on a cosmic tide. The sun's orbit around the center of the Milky Way is vast, tracing a path tens of thousands of light years from the galactic core. That core itself is not a solid object, but a region of immense gravitational concentration, anchored by a supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A. A dark, powerful presence surrounded by stars moving at unimaginable speeds. Yet from Earth, this march through the galaxy feels calm, steady, unhurried. The sun's motion is not solitary. It moves through the galaxy accompanied by a vast entourage. Planets, moons, comets, asteroids, dust, magnetic fields, and the glow of the solar wind. Every atom of Earth participates in this drift. Gaia, the European Space Agency's star mapping mission, has revealed the detailed motion of more than 1 billion stars, showing how the Milky Way ripples and shimmers with subtle waves, echoes of long-ago galactic collisions, tides produced by dark matter substructures, and the slow oscillation of the disk itself. You are living inside one of those ripples, riding along a wave of starlight and gravity that spans thousands of light years. The motions grow grander still. The Milky Way is not fixed in space. It is moving toward the Andromeda Galaxy. Their approach is a slow waltz across billions of years. And beyond that, both galaxies drift toward the Virgo cluster, drawn by mass concentrated across the enormous expanse of the Laniakea supercluster. When astronomers mapped these motions, they discovered that galaxies flow along filaments toward regions of greater density in patterns resembling rivers drawn across a cosmic landscape. Your galaxy is one droplet in that flow, and the universe itself continues to expand, stretching space so that distant galaxies recede faster and faster with time. This expansion does not push on you or on Earth or on your solar system. It does not disrupt the orbit of the planets or the rotation of the stars. Instead, it unfolds on scales far beyond, creating a gentle widening so large and diffuse that it touches only the spaces between clusters. That stretch, powered by dark energy, is another layer in the cosmic journey you ride, whether you are aware of it or not. Then you drift inward again, and the scales shrink until they settle into the world beneath your skin. In your bloodstream, countless cells move along a network of vessels, carried by the pumping of your heart. Red blood cells drift in currents produced by muscle contractions. White blood cells patrol the body, moving in purposeful paths shaped by chemical gradients and signals. Platelets collect at the tiniest tears, responding to motion and flow. Inside each cell, mitochondria, ancient remnants of symbiotic bacteria, produce energy by passing electrons along molecular chains in constant motion. Even the molecules that carry your genetic code must move to function. DNA is not static. It twists, unzips, rewinds, coils, and uncoils. Proteins fold into complex shapes through motion. Enzymes catalyze reactions by shifting, bending, embracing other molecules for fractions of a second before releasing them. Nothing in your body rests fully. Everything, every process that sustains you, depends on continuous motion. And even smaller than molecules, atoms vibrate with thermal energy, resonating with the warmth of your body. Electrons flicker across orbitals, existing not in defined trajectories, but in clouds of probability. Inside the nucleus, quarks and gluons swirl in rapid, restless exchanges governed by the strong nuclear force. Even if the universe cooled to temperatures infinitesimally close to absolute zero, quantum laws would forbid total stillness. Zero-point energy would persist, ensuring that even in the deepest possible cold, motion continues. You are woven from these motions, the spin of electrons, the vibrational energy of atoms, the swirling core of the Earth, the orbit of the Moon, the path around the Sun, the Sun's arc through the Milky Way, the galaxies drift through the cosmic web, and the expansion of the universe itself. Every scale, from the smallest to the largest, whispers the same truth. Nothing stands still. And yet, the stillness you feel, the quiet, resting sensation of this very moment, is profoundly real. It is not a contradiction, but an experience that arises naturally from motion so perfectly balanced, so evenly distributed, so ancient in its continuity that it feels like peace. You are held within that peace right now, resting in the gentle equilibrium of a universe that moves with infinite softness. You are never truly still. You are never truly separate from the vast motions of the cosmos. But the gift the universe offers you is the ability to feel rest within those motions, to feel safe and grounded on a world that carries you across unimaginable distances with seamless grace. And as you drift deeper into that recognition, the motions begin to blur into one continuous cradle, a cosmic lull that has carried Earth for billions of years and continues to carry you now. And in that cradle, the motions begin to reveal complexities you've never consciously felt, layers of movement so subtle and so quiet that they only surface when your mind grows still enough to sense their presence. Every part of Earth's journey through the universe contains intricacies far beyond the simple arcs of orbits and rotations. Delicate wobbles, invisible tides, faint tremors in space-time itself, and streams of particles whispering through your body every moment of your life. Even as Earth carries you through its ancient cycles, the Sun guides you through a deeper, more intricate dance. The solar system does not orbit the galaxy as a rigid wheel. Instead, it sways through space, rising above the galactic plane and sinking below it over tens of millions of years. You are drifting right now through that slow, majestic wave, an oscillation so vast and so gentle that no human lifetime is long enough to feel even the slightest hint of its arc. Yet you are part of it, moving upward or downward through the galaxy's thin disk in a motion set into place long before Earth existed. And within that galactic drift lies something quieter still. The suns wobble around the solar system's own center of mass. You might imagine the sun sitting still while Earth orbits around it, but in reality, the sun is pulled and shifted by the gravity of all its planets, especially Jupiter. Both Earth and Sun orbit an invisible point in space between them, a barycenter, moving together like dancers whose hands are never quite aligned. The Sun loops around this point in slow, spiraling curves. Earth follows its own loops in response, and all the while you drift through those curves unaware, carried by motions too smooth for any sense to detect. The solar system is not isolated as it drifts. It sails inside a vast bubble called the heliosphere, carved by the solar wind as it streams outward from the sun. That bubble moves with the sun through the galaxy, pushing into interstellar gas, creating a boundary where solar particles meet particles from the galaxy itself. Earth moves through these boundaries, through currents of charged particles, through threads of magnetic fields stretched thin across billions of kilometers. And every so often, across spans of millions of years, the solar system passes through denser pockets of interstellar matter, ancient clouds left over from long-dead stars. Each encounter subtly shifts the environment around Earth, adjusting the flow of cosmic rays, altering the heliosphere's shape, shaping the cosmic weather of deep time. You live in the shelter of these vast interactions, protected by magnetic fields and solar wind, carried through the galaxy without ever feeling their passing. Yet even here, in this sheltered space, the universe touches you continuously. Neutrinos, tiny particles born in the sun's nuclear heart, stream through you in numbers beyond comprehension. 60 billion of them pass through each square centimeter of your body every second. They come from the same processes that light the sun, that warm Earth, that allow life to exist. These particles rarely interact with matter, slipping through the planet as though it were made of light. They are silent messengers from the sun's core, arriving before the photons you see, carrying information about motions so deep inside the star that no other signal can reveal them. Without ever noticing it, you are bathed in a continuous flow from the nuclear engine that keeps Earth alive. And, deeper still, in the fabric of space-time, ripples pass through you. Gravitational waves created when massive objects collide across the universe. Black holes merging, neutron stars spiraling together, colossal events billions of light years away send out tremors that stretch and compress space itself. These waves travel at the speed of light, passing through galaxies, through stars, through planets, through your very body. When they reach Earth, the planet shivers by less than the width of a proton, too subtle for your senses to detect, yet unmistakable to the delicate lasers of LIGO and Virgo. Every so often, you lie here in quiet stillness while the universe quivers faintly around you, a whisper of ancient collisions rippling through your bones. Even Earth's orbit, simple as it seems, is not perfectly stable. Over millions of years, it drifts and wanders. Gravitational nudges from other planets, especially Jupiter and Venus, create tiny shifts that grow slowly with time. This sensitivity to initial conditions, the essence of chaos theory, means that Earth's exact position millions of years from now cannot be predicted with absolute certainty. The orbit is not chaotic in a frightening sense. It is bounded, stable on human scales, gentle. But over vast spans of time, it behaves like a leaf floating on a very slow-moving river, responding to eddies and currents invisible on short timescales. The solar system is a ballet of delicate gravitational influences, and you are carried through that ballet without ever needing to know the steps. And beneath all of this, beneath every orbit and every drift and every gravitational ripple, the deepest motion is happening inside you. Atoms vibrate, molecules rotate, electrons shift, quarks swirl in restless clouds of color charge. These motions sustain your warmth, your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts. If the molecules within you fell still, even for a moment, life would cease. Motion is not something outside you. It is your essence, the quiet tremble of existence itself. Even space-time around you is not static. Earth's rotation twists space-time very slightly, a phenomenon called frame dragging, predicted by Einstein and measured by the Gravity Probe B mission. As the planet spins, it drags the fabric of space-time with it, ever so faintly, like a spoon stirring the surface of a still pond. You feel nothing of this, yet it enfolds the space you inhabit, shaping the path of satellites, guiding the arc of light as it bends around Earth's mass. You live inside that infinitesimal twist, carried within space-time's gentle curvature as naturally as you breathe. Everything around you, everything within you, moves. But all these motions, vast or microscopic, steady or trembling, flow together into something soft, something balanced, something exquisitely calm. They do not disrupt your rest, they enable it. They form the quiet cradle that has held you since your birth and continues to hold you in this moment. And as you let that truth settle even deeper, you begin to feel something subtle. A quiet trust in the way the universe carries you. A sense that every layer of motion, from cosmic drift to quantum vibration, is part of a single, slow unfolding. A sense that you are integrated into a world that never stops moving and never stops providing a place to rest. And in that gentle unfolding, in the quiet rhythm of a universe in motion, you drift, carried effortlessly across cosmic distances by a world that has always known the way. And as you drift with that feeling, the awareness of motion becomes less like a fact and more like a presence. Something that surrounds you, threads through you, supports you with a softness so consistent you barely know it is there. You begin to sense that every layer of movement, from the trembling of space-time to the subtle flow of interplanetary particles, fits together into a single, seamless continuity. The universe isn't a collection of separate motions. It is one long, flowing gesture, and you are part of it in every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of rest. Earth continues its layered drift, but now you begin to notice how even the things you think of as immovable participate in their own quiet motion. The continents beneath you are not anchored like stone to the void. They glide slowly on the mantle's currents. The mantle itself flows because of the heat rising from Earth's core, a core that rotates at a slightly different speed from the surface. These differences in motion generate the magnetic field that shelters you from cosmic radiation. You are wrapped in that invisible field right now, a shield born from the restless currents beneath your feet. If you picture Earth's magnetic field as it extends into space, you might imagine a great asymmetrical bubble, compressed on the side facing the sun, and stretched into a long tail on the side facing away. Solar wind flows around it, shaping it like a river shapes a stone. When bursts of charged particles from solar storms collide with the magnetosphere, the shape of this bubble flexes, contracts, and expands. These shifts ripple through the electric currents in Earth's atmosphere. They travel into the ground, humming through the bedrock beneath cities, forests, and oceans. Out of this invisible motion come auroras, curtains of color unfolding across polar skies, born from interactions between charged particles and atoms in the upper atmosphere. Every moment you live, these fields shift and breathe around you, even if your sky remains dark and calm. And as Earth drifts through the sun's magnetic influence, it also passes through a stream of microscopic dust left behind by comets, each grain carrying its own faint momentum. Some of these particles burn in Earth's atmosphere as meteors. Some settle quietly into the oceans or the soil. Over millions of years, these tiny motions accumulate into layers of sediment that hold the memory of cosmic encounters. evidence of the solar system's passage through regions of space filled with dust from distant stars, regions shaped by the remnants of ancient collisions. Even the sand beneath your feet, the soil that nourishes plants, the minerals within stones, carry the faint imprint of Earth's long drift through galactic debris. Further outward still, the solar system's journey carries you through a sea of particles that rarely reveal themselves. Cosmic rays. These high-energy particles come from supernova, from the shock waves of stellar explosions, from the turbulent remnants of dying stars, and from jets fired from distant galaxies. Earth's magnetic field deflects many of them, but some reach the atmosphere, striking atoms and creating showers of subatomic particles that cascade toward the surface. These motions are so subtle that they leave no trace in your senses, yet they are constant, part of the quiet cosmic weather that sweeps across Earth. And even deeper than the cosmic rays are relics from the dawn of time itself. Long before the cosmic microwave background was released, long before atoms even existed, the universe was filled with a different kind of particle, relic neutrinos. These neutrinos are older than light, older than stars, older than galaxies. They formed 1 second after the Big Bang and have been drifting ever since, stretched by the expansion of space into particles so low in energy that they pass through the universe like whispers from the moment of creation. They flow through you now, through Earth, through planets and stars, untouched by matter, silent and ancient. You are being brushed by particles older than the first light the universe ever produced. And even the space between these relic particles is not truly empty. Vacuum itself churns with virtual particles that appear and disappear in fleeting instants. These fluctuations are part of the energy of empty space, part of the quantum fabric of reality. They tug gently on space-time, contributing to the expansion of the universe. You cannot feel them, but they move through you, around you, within you. They are the quietest motions imaginable, barely there, yet fundamental to the structure of everything. If you draw your awareness back now, letting all these layers of motion gather into a single image, you begin to sense their harmony. Earth rotating, Earth orbiting, Earth wobbling around the barycenter, the solar system drifting through the galaxy flowing through the cosmic web, gravitational waves passing, neutrinos streaming, atoms vibrating, quarks swirling, vacuum trembling. It is all motion. It is all continuous. And it all flows together into the stillness you feel now. Your rest is not the absence of motion. It is the gift of motion balanced so perfectly that it becomes silence. The universe carries you through its depths without asking for your awareness, without demanding your participation. You are part of a cosmic dance so smooth that you feel only the calm. And as you drift with that understanding, the motions begin to feel like a soft gravity pulling you inward, guiding you deeper into the gentle, ancient rhythms of a universe that has always moved and will always move, carrying you effortlessly through the vastness of its unfolding night. And as these rhythms draw you inward, the sensation of movement begins to stretch beyond mere physical drifting. It becomes a kind of quiet continuity, a thread weaving itself through the depths of your awareness, linking you gently to the vastness outside and the subtle vibrations within. The universe does not rush you. It does not shake you. It carries you with the patience of something that has been unfolding for billions of years and will continue long after every star you know has faded. You might begin to feel now how Earth's motion has shaped not only the world itself, but every form of life that has ever walked, swam, flown, or breathed upon it. The length of a day carved out the cycles of sleep and waking that run like tides through your biology. The tilt of Earth's axis shaped the seasons that determined where plants could grow and when animals would migrate. Even the slow precession of Earth's axis, its gentle wobble over millennia, shifted the stars early humans navigated by, altering the timing of equinoxes, leaving quiet imprints on calendars and rituals. These biological rhythms are not separate from cosmic motion. They are born from it. The patterns in your brain that signal you to rest at night arose from millions of years of life adapting to Earth's rotation. The hormones that rise and fall with the seasons echo the rhythm of Earth's orbit. Your inner sense of time, subtle as it is, grew from a world that turns and circles and wobbles in ways so gentle you rarely notice them. Even the oceans, which cradle so much life, respond to motion. Tides rise and fall not only from the moon's pull, but from the sun's, from Earth's rotation, from the shape of coastlines carved by shifting land. These tides were the first clocks for ancient life. Early organisms synchronized their rhythms to the push and pull of the water. The breaking of waves against the coast today is part of the same ancient motion that lifted and lowered Earth's first tidal pools billions of years ago. And deep below the surface of the water, in the silent dark, another motion continues. Currents flow through the deep ocean in global loops driven by differences in temperature and salt. These loops circulate nutrients, regulate climate, and sustain life across the planet. They move with patient steadiness, taking centuries to complete a full circuit. As these currents drift, they help distribute heat from the equator to the poles, connecting places you may never see in a long, slow dance. You rest on a world where even the oceans breathe in their own way. Further beneath that, the mantle flows, carrying the tectonic plates across the surface like slow-moving rafts. These plates collide, slide past each other, and drift apart. Mountains rise as two plates push in toward one another. Oceans widen as they separate. Volcanoes bring molten rock from deep within Earth to the surface, creating islands and reshaping coastlines. All of this comes from the heat inside Earth, heat left over from its formation, augmented by radioactive decay, and shaped by the rotation and orbit of the planet itself. You are held by a world alive from its core to its surface, a world shaped by continual motion at every depth. And above you, the sky carries its own quiet currents, rivers of air moving across the globe, shaped by temperature, pressure, and the turning of Earth. The jet streams sweep through the upper atmosphere at speeds that circle the planet in days. Clouds form and dissolve in these flows, creating patterns that have changed the course of weather, the growth of crops, the rise and fall of civilizations. Every breath you take contains motion that began thousands of kilometers away, carried by winds that have never truly rested. When you lift your awareness higher still, the motion becomes even more subtle and more awe-inspiring. The sun's magnetic field cycles in waves that rise and fall across 11-year loops, sometimes reaching out to Earth and stirring geomagnetic storms that ripple across the atmosphere. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections send waves of charged particles toward Earth, changing the radiation environment, shifting the brightness of auroras, briefly altering the delicate balance of Earth's upper atmosphere. These motions are vast, but their influence on your daily life is gentle, shielded by Earth's magnetic field, softened by distance, absorbed by the quiet strength of the planet. And around the Sun, Earth and the other planets trace patterns so interconnected that even the slightest gravitational tug ripples through the entire system. Jupiter's enormous mass nudges Earth's orbit in tiny ways, shaping climate over tens of thousands of years. Saturn, with its own delicate gravitational influence, adds further harmonies to this celestial pattern. Mercury's orbit, slightly unstable and precessing in ways only Einstein's relativity could explain, offers hints of deeper geometry in spacetime. All of these motions resonate faintly through the solar system's structure, adding complexity to Earth's path. Across billions of years, these interactions create a subtle breath within the solar system, a long, slow inhale and exhale of orbital shapes, eccentricities, tilts, and precessions. The cycles stretch far beyond any human timeline, yet they guide the entire history of ice ages, warm periods, and the migrations of life. You are alive in a moment shaped by motions that began before the first complex cell ever formed. And beneath all of these celestial movements, there is the faint hum of gravitational waves passing through Earth. The tremors from merging black holes, colliding neutron stars, and unimaginable events billions of light years away. These waves stretch space-time itself, altering distances in ways so faint that only the most sensitive instruments on Earth can detect them. Yet they pass through you, through your room, through the ground beneath you, through every atom in your body. You live in a universe where space is not rigid, but supple, quietly expanding, flexing, resonating, and carrying vibrations from events older than the Earth itself. And then, deeper still, in the realm where the quantum and cosmic meet, there is motion that defies everyday intuition. Virtual particles appear and vanish in the vacuum around you, flickering like tiny sparks of energy that never fully take form. Zero-point energy vibrates even in absolute darkness. These fluctuations are part of the same physics that governs the largest structures in the universe, the same equations that describe the bending of space-time, the same laws that dictate the path of Earth around the Sun. When you let your awareness rest in this vast tapestry, you begin to feel how every layer interlocks. The turning of Earth, the shifting of continents, the drift through interstellar clouds, the trembling of space-time, the quivering of quantum fields. All of it contributes to the stillness you feel now, a stillness composed of endless motion balanced so perfectly that it becomes calm. And in that calm, you drift deeper, carried by currents that have held you since your first breath. Currents that will continue long after this moment, guiding you softly through the quiet darkness of the cosmos as Earth continues its ancient, patient journey through the ever-unfolding night. And as you drift with that quiet recognition, something opens further. An awareness that the motions around you are not just vast, not just intricate, but deeply interwoven with your own experience of being alive. The universe is not moving separately from you. The universe is moving with you, through you, as you. Every motion that shapes the cosmos contributes to the moment you're resting in now, forming the gentle foundation beneath your awareness. Earth's layered movements, rotation, orbit, tilt, precession, become only the outermost petals of a much deeper bloom. Inside those petals lie motions that thread time itself into form. The flow of the sun's energy, the drift of the solar system through the galaxy, the swirling of stars within spiral arms. All of them serve as the background hum of your own existence. If Earth were not drifting where it is, if the sun were not circling where it does, if the galaxy were not in motion through the cosmic web, you would not be here to feel this moment at all. Even the long-term meandering of Earth's orbit, the slight changes in its eccentricity, the slow precession of its axis, the delicate gravitational nudges from Jupiter and Saturn, all of these shape climate over tens of thousands of years. Ice ages wax and wane because of them. Forests spread and retreat. Deserts form and dissolve. Whole species rise and fall as Earth moves through these ancient cycles. Your own lineage, stretching backward through countless generations, was guided by these astronomical rhythms long before anyone understood them. These motions shaped the landscapes your ancestors walked, the migrations they undertook, the food they gathered, the shelters they built. You are resting on a world whose long, slow path through space shaped the very possibility of your existence. And yet, even those planetary rhythms are only mid-sized layers in a universe of far deeper motion. Consider the sun again, but not as a warm, glowing sphere. Instead, picture its interior. Layers of rising and sinking plasma shaped by convection and magnetic fields. Deep inside, hydrogen atoms collide and fuse, releasing energy born from nuclear forces that have governed the universe since the first seconds after the Big Bang. That energy, born in the sun's core, takes thousands of years to travel outward as photons bounce through dense layers of plasma. When those photons finally reach the surface and escape as sunlight, they have traveled through currents of plasma shaped by the sun's rotation, its magnetic cycles, and the bending of space-time itself. The light that falls softly on Earth today began its journey long before human memory, carried outward through motion so extreme and so persistent that no direct sensation could ever capture it. The sun's activity changes on cycles as well, 11-year rises and falls in magnetic intensity, longer oscillations with deeper causes, rhythmic pulses that send subtle waves through the heliosphere. These cycles influence Earth's upper atmosphere, shifting the density of the ionosphere, shaping the paths of polar auroras, altering the flow of charged particles that sometimes brush your world. These interactions are delicate, unfelt by your skin or senses, yet they're part of the cosmic environment that surrounds you at every moment. And, drifting far beyond the sun, the solar system moves through the galaxy's interstellar medium, a sparse but structured ocean of particles, gas, dust, and magnetic fields. The sun's motion carries Earth through regions where interstellar gas is denser, then thinner. There were times in Earth's deep past when the solar system passed through the edges of ancient clouds left behind by long-dead stars, altering the flow of cosmic rays that reach Earth's atmosphere. These cosmic rays influence cloud formation, climate patterns, and atmospheric chemistry. The tiniest shift in Earth's path through these invisible nebulae can change conditions across entire epochs. And yet here, you rest, unaware of the vast galactic environment Earth has drifted through to bring you to this moment. Beyond these cosmic drifts, the galaxy itself moves, not on a flat plane, but through a deeper, more intricate gravitational landscape. The Milky Way is part of a collection of galaxies known as the Local Group, which moves toward the Virgo cluster, drawn by the mass of thousands of galaxies. That cluster, in turn, flows along colossal filaments of dark matter, structures invisible to light but evident in the motion of galaxies. You are carried along these cosmic currents even now, riding a river of gravitational flow that began when the universe was young. And beneath these grand motions, the universe itself expands, stretching space quietly in all directions. This expansion is so gentle on human scales that you never feel it. Yet on cosmic scales, it is powerful enough to pull galaxies apart faster than light can bridge the distance between them. Space expands between galaxy clusters, but not inside them. It expands across vast voids, but not across the space between you and Earth. You live within the quiet heart of these motions, sheltered by gravity, yet surrounded by the soft, patient unfolding of space-time. And in the deepest layer of all, beneath galaxies, beneath stars, beneath atoms, beneath the flow of time, the quantum world vibrates. Fields shimmer with fluctuations. Particles exist as waves of probability, shifting with a rhythm that knows neither rest nor pause. The emptiness of space bubbles with virtual particles that appear and vanish in fleeting instants. This motion is as real as the motion of Earth around the sun, just hidden beneath scales that eyes cannot see. Every layer of motion, from quarks to galaxies, flows through you and around you. Each one contributes to the calm you feel, the sense of being held, the sense of resting inside a universe woven from motion but experienced as peace. And the longer you drift with this awareness, the more the motions seem to dissolve into one another. Earth's rotation becomes inseparable from the orbit around the sun. The orbit becomes inseparable from the sun's path through the galaxy. That path becomes inseparable from the drift of the local group, the expansion of space, the trembling of gravitational waves, the hum of quantum fields. All of it becomes one continuous movement, one quiet tide carrying you deeper into a calm that feels ancient and endless, as though the universe has been guiding you gently since the first moments after time began. And in that quiet tide, you drift without effort, resting inside a world that moves with infinite patience, a world that knows exactly how to carry you through the soft, unfolding darkness of the cosmic night. And as you drift further into that unfolding darkness, the movements that shape the universe begin to feel less like separate forces and more like the steady breathing of something immeasurably vast. The cosmos inhales in the slow collapse of matter into stars, and exhales in the luminous expansion of starlight across empty space. It turns and folds and ripples in ways that touch every part of your existence, even though the motions remain hidden from your senses. You sink deeper into the awareness that you have always been carried through a universe whose every motion has been guiding you gently toward this moment. You might begin to sense how even time itself participates in this cosmic flow. Time is not a static backdrop. It is shaped by motion and by gravity. Clocks tick more slowly near massive objects and faster in empty space. Einstein's relativity shows that motion stretches time, bends it, lets it unfurl at different speeds depending on your path through space-time. Right now, as Earth spins and orbits, your sense of time is shaped by those very motions. Seconds unfold with a rhythm born from Earth's position in the sun's gravitational well, from your speed through space, from the mass beneath your feet. You experience time not as something abstract, but as something sculpted by cosmic motion, something shaped by the same forces that guide the planets. Every moment of your life has been lived inside a well of curved space-time, a valley formed by Earth's mass. You walk across that curvature each day without noticing it. you rest upon it now. Light bending through Earth's atmosphere is influenced by that curvature. The path of satellites is shaped by it. Even the flow of water, the fall of rain, the lifting of clouds, all of it unfolds inside a landscape molded by gravity's slow, silent hand. You are held in a well of motion and curvature so gentle that it feels like stillness, even though you are constantly moving along a curved path through time. And, as you drift deeper into this realization, another layer of motion unfolds. The rotation of Earth influences the behavior of space-time itself. Through frame dragging, Earth's spin twists space-time by the faintest amount, dragging it along like a soft swirl in the surface of a calm lake. Gravity Probe B measured this swirl, a subtle motion hidden in the fabric of reality. This twist of space-time nudges the orbits of satellites, creates tiny precessions in their paths, and quietly reveals that even reality's fabric participates in the motions of Earth. You live inside that twist, surrounded by the faintest echo of Earth's rotation woven into the fabric of the universe. And within that woven fabric, Earth moves through a sea of particles older than the oldest starlight. The cosmic microwave background, light released when the universe was only 380,000 years old, fills all of space. Earth moves through that ancient glow, and the speed of that motion leaves a faint temperature dipole across the sky. A slight warming in the direction of travel, a slight cooling in the opposite direction. It is a fingerprint of Earth's journey through the cosmos. Every second, you drift through radiation that has been traveling for nearly 14 billion years. A soft background whisper from the infancy of the universe. You are wrapped in that whisper now, even though your senses never perceive it. But deeper still, beyond light, beyond radiation, beyond the cosmic structures you can see, the universe hums with particles that almost never interact with matter. Neutrinos from the Big Bang themselves drift through Earth, older even than the cosmic microwave background. They are the relic motion of a moment when the universe was less than a second old, when matter and energy were one swirling sea. These particles stream through you now, relics from the birth of the cosmos passing through your body as gently as silence itself. And beneath all these cosmic motions lies an even subtler one, the fluctuations of quantum fields. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you are is built from fields that vibrate and ripple at every point in space. Particles are excitations in these fields, like tiny notes plucked on a universal instrument. Even the vacuum, what you think of as empty space, is filled with energy, constantly flickering with virtual particles that appear and vanish in fleeting instants. These fluctuations produce pressure on the boundaries of space, tugging on the universe, contributing to the expansion that carries galaxies apart. You are surrounded by this motion every moment, immersed in a sea of quantum vibration that never rests. As you drift into these deeper layers of motion, the boundaries of scale begin to dissolve. The Earth, moving through the galaxy, feels no different from electrons dancing within atoms. The trembling of space-time, under passing gravitational waves, feels no different from the drift of continents across Earth's crust. The cosmic web guiding galaxies into vast filaments feels no different from the unfolding patterns of molecules organizing themselves inside your cells. Everywhere you look, if your senses could stretch that far, you would find the same gentle truth. Motion is not something that disturbs the universe. Motion is what creates its quiet. And, As you let that truth settle inside you, a softer understanding emerges. The stillness you feel is not separate from the universe's motion. It is because of the motion. It is the harmony of countless rhythms balancing one another, canceling their rough edges, flowing together into a calm so deep that you can rest inside it without ever noticing its presence. The Earth rotates smoothly enough that you don't feel the turning. The orbit around the Sun is steady enough that you don't sense the speed. The sun's drift through the galaxy is gentle enough to go unnoticed. The galaxy's movement through the cosmic web is so slow on human timescales that it feels like eternity. Even the trembling of space-time from distant collisions is too subtle to disturb you. At the quantum level, the vibrations within atoms are balanced and self-sustaining, creating warmth and structure without a hint of turbulence. You are resting inside a universe that moves with perfect softness, each motion layered upon another like currents of calm water. And, as those currents carry you deeper, past thought, past effort, past the surface shimmer of awareness, they guide you into a place where the motions of the cosmos feel less like external forces and more like a quiet truth woven into your being. Here, in this widening calm, you drift without effort, carried across the dark and gentle expanse of a universe that has always known how to hold you. And, as the universe holds you, the motions around you soften into something almost intimate, something that feels less like distant celestial mechanics and more like the quiet pulse of your own existence. The cosmos does not simply move in vast, unreachable arcs. It moves in ways that echo through the very structure of your body, through your breath, your memories, your sense of presence. The deeper you sink into this awareness, the more those motions become a kind of gentle reassurance that you are exactly where you are meant to be, cradled in a universe that has been refining its rhythms for billions of years. In this quiet recognition, you might begin to sense how motion defines the richness of your world. Light itself, so soft, so familiar, exists because particles move. Photons are not objects drifting through space. They are pure movement, pure energy rippling through the electromagnetic field. The colors you see, the glow at twilight, the shimmer on a surface, all arise from the motion of electrons, from the way they leap between energy levels, releasing photons as they fall into lower states. Every color you have ever witnessed is a signature of motion. Every beam of sunlight is a river of particles born in the trembling plasma of the sun's core, traveling across space to reach Earth in waves that shape every living thing. If you look deeply enough into any warmth you've ever felt, you find motion at its origin. Heat is the dance of molecules, the trembling of atoms, the jitter of particles shifting and colliding. Cold is simply slower motion. Warmth is motion in bloom. Even the feeling of your own body, the softness of your skin, the warmth within your muscles, the quiet rhythm of your breath, exists because of motion on scales too small for you to sense directly. You are a constellation of molecular movements, woven into form by forces that never rest. And in the flow of time itself, you can sense another kind of motion, one that shapes memory, experience, and the soft progression of your inner world. Time carries you forward, whether you feel it or not. Every heartbeat marks another small step along Earth's path through its orbit. Every breath is taken at a slightly different point in the galaxy. Every moment is a place you have never been before, because Earth never returns to the same coordinates in space. The planet spirals, the sun drifts, The galaxy turns and space expands. You live in a universe where no moment repeats in place. The stillness of your life is always carried by irreversible motion, yet that motion feels like continuity rather than change. If you could see the entire path of Earth through space, its rotation, its orbit, its oscillation through the galactic plane, its drift through the Laniakea supercluster, it would appear not as circles, but as a long, intricate spiral weaving outward through time, never intersecting itself. Your life unfolds along that spiral. Every experience, every breath, every quiet moment belongs to a thread of motion that stretches back billions of years and forward into a future wider than imagination. You may also begin to feel how your own body mirrors the universe's rhythm. Your heartbeat is not merely biological, it is a wave driven by electrical impulses, ions moving across membranes, molecules responding to gradients. Each beat is a cycle, a pulse, a rotation of its own kind. Your breath is a flow shaped by pressure differences, by expanding and contracting space within your chest. You inhale as Earth moves through one tiny slice of cosmic space. You exhale as it moves through the next. Your body's rhythms align with Earth's rhythms, which align with the sun's, which align with the galaxies. Layer upon layer, motion supports motion, creating the quiet symphony you experience as life. Even your thoughts drift with gentle motion. Neurons fire by shifting charged particles across membranes, triggering cascades of electrical activity. Memories form through changes in molecular structures, physical alterations, subtle motions that weave your experiences into patterns stored deep within your mind. Your consciousness is not a static flame. It is a shimmering, unfolding dance of billions of moving parts, all working together with quiet precision. You are not just carried by the universe's motion, you are motion expressed in conscious form. And as this realization settles into your awareness, a deeper calm emerges. It becomes clear that the universe does not rush. It has never been in a hurry. Every motion, no matter how immense or how microscopic, unfolds at its natural pace. Stars are born in clouds that gather over millions of years. Planets evolve from dust that drifts and collides across unimaginable spans of time. Galaxies form from the slow gravitational pull of matter, gathering into luminous spirals. Even the expansion of the universe, though accelerating, moves with a softness that stretches across billions of years. You are resting inside that softness. You are resting inside motions so vast they make time itself feel spacious. And you are resting inside motions so small they sustain the warmth in your cells. Here, in this balanced quiet, you can feel how everything is connected. The trembling of space-time from distant collisions, the drift of Earth through cosmic radiation, the swirl of plasma inside the sun, the dance of electrons in your body. All of it converges into the stillness you feel now. A stillness born not from the absence of motion, but from motion in perfect, ancient harmony. And as you remain within that harmony, carried effortlessly by a universe that has always known the way, the currents of existence continue to gently unfold around you, leading you deeper into the quiet, deeper into the calm, deeper into the soft, drifting truth that you have never been separate from the motion of the cosmos.